Well, long time no see. I feel like you are owed an explanation of what I've been doing. Well, I've been living in hell, and it's just got worse and worse and worse until one day, when I was at my very lowest, very bleakest point, I prayed to the universe. I squeezed my hands together, which were all basically covered in tears and snot and everything already, and my face was stinging from the amount I was crying. And I asked God for help. And suddenly tingles shot all up my spine, all up my neck, and all up my head, and I cried like much more intensely. And it was clear to me then that that was the universe talking to me. That was the universe giving me a sign. It was the universe communicating with me. So my perspective has completely changed to how it was. I'm just grateful now to be able to walk through a wet patch in the kitchen. I look at the stories on the news now and on the internet. And things like Wikipedia, begging people to give them money. This multi-trillion dollar, multi-billion certainly, dollar company saying that we humbly ask you to give us money to keep funding our independence. It's just funny. I just find it hilarious now. It used to really agitate me and anger me and make me really, really upset, but I couldn't do anything about it. Now I just think it's a joke world. I just think it's a clown world, and I think it's funny. Everything's coming down. The old world has to come down. And I called it once upon a time demoralisation. Well, who cares if Sacha Baron Cohen never has a career again? Who cares if any of these celebrities that have never talked to God, say that God isn't real and all this sort of stuff? Who cares what all the normies think? They are the normies. And I'm just grateful to have the chance to dismiss them. I mean, I am a completely different person to the person I was when I was doing those entries before. I was angry, I was agitated, I was vengeful, I was suicidal. And now that I've been saved, I was blind and now I can see. All the cliches and tropes all sort of ring true. It didn't really do anyone any good raging against the machine. That's what the left does. And I don't even mean the liberal left, as in classically liberal. I mean the outrageous, authoritarian, censorious left. And I'm not like the God-bothering Christian puritanical right either, who God has never spoken to. God has never spoken to a priest. There's no way he would waste his time speaking to someone with the pomp and ceremony of someone like the Pope. Popey, you've never spoken to God, and that's why you follow a satanic agenda. And I'm not going to suddenly start believing in the church and sodomy is bad and original sin and the Ten Commandments and all the control mechanisms, because the church and religion is antithetical to belief. Belief happens outside of those institutions. If God is omnipresent and can be anywhere, anytime, anywhere, anywhen, why do you need to go to a church to talk to him or to have communion or communication or whatever? It's just weak people that can't actually think logically for themselves that do that. And I was an atheist all my life. I didn't believe in any greater force. And now that the universe is conscious and it's shown me that it's conscious and it's actually rewarded me against all the odds, and somehow I've come through it, and God knows how I'm alive now, and he does know, but literally I've got no idea why I'm alive now. I've been saved. That must be it. It sounds terrible, it sounds cliched, but that feels like what's happened. I've got a different perspective on the world right now. Nothing bothers me like it did, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to fight for it. I'll fight for it, I'll find it funny, I'll talk to people, I'll communicate, I'll share information, but I'm not going to let it agitate me. Apart from just there. Although I wonder how long that promise will last. But seriously, it got on top of me before, and it felt like it was wrong living on in the world, and it was actually a struggle to take your life. That was the heroic thing to do, because you've got no choice but to live, and you have to actually take an affirmative action to undo your survival instinct. So it seemed like a thing that you needed to do. It seemed like life was wrong, and that living in hell, life on earth, and hell on earth, was just not something that we should live in. And I can't relate to that mindset anymore. I just can't believe I said that and used to actually believe that and think that, because life is beautiful. I'm grateful for every aspect of life. We've got all the freedoms that we could ever care for. We might be losing them incrementally, etc., but it's still better than what could be. And it's about time we started being grateful as a culture for things rather than just moaning and saying, oh, this message is gone, oh, this blah, blah, blah. And I can do that. Believe me, I'm completely, the worst case of throwing my toys out the pram. I guess when you've been saved, none of it matters. You're just grateful for the people that care about you. You're grateful for the things you have. I was grateful for the warm bed. I was grateful for the warm tea. I was grateful for the hot bath. I was grateful for the dog and the cat and the house and the trees and the sky and this and the castles and the fields and the forests and the wildlife and the flowers and the jellyfish and the fish and everything. Just life is beautiful. It just so happens that the human world has been grafted over the top of it and made it crummy. But it isn't. There's been a fluoride-led effort to overlay spirituality so that people don't have any connection to the divine. But it didn't work in my case, and I haven't been consuming fluoride, so that's probably why. Fluoride is well known to calcify the pineal gland and stop you having access to the divine, stopped you receiving wisdom from the ether, which seems to exist. The universe is conscious in a way we don't understand. It's a metaphysical entity, not an ideology. God is a metaphysical entity. I've discovered that. Other people are discovering that en masse. And it doesn't make them religious, and they don't have to go to mass. And they don't have to suddenly become boring pussies and start talking about, oh, Jesus is love, oh, I forgive everyone, oh no, my child, blah, 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 let's go to church and pray, blah, blah, blah. No! That's a control mechanism. That's the enemy overlaying spirituality. You see, that is the attempt to usurp the connection to the divine. That's the New World Order's connection to us. That basically there's been the internet and all the artificial realities that have been grafted over the top of this reality, which is actually connected in a way similar to Wi-Fi, but we're not aware of it because we're so distracted and bickering all the time on things like Twitter. Twitter killed creativity. That is unquestionable. But is it really so bad? These people were frauds. They've merely been exposed. The cult of celebrity is where we went wrong. Not bringing the celebrities down, elevating them and worshipping them. And it's not just because they're false idols and it's a sin and all that crap. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in dogma. I don't believe in commandments. I don't believe in control mechanisms. I believe in a conscious universe. Nothing else.